Genesis chapter 29. Jacob continued his journey and arrived in the land of the eastern people. He looked around and saw a well in the field, with 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. They used this well to water the flocks, and there was a large stone covering the mouth of the well. All the flocks would gather there, and they would roll away the stone from the well's mouth, water the sheep, and then put the stone back in its place. Jacob asked them, "My brothers, where are you from?" And they replied, "We are from Haran." He inquired, "Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor?" They responded, "Yes, we know him." Jacob further asked, "Is he well?" They answered, "He is well. In fact, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." Jacob said, "The sun is still high, it's not yet time to gather the livestock. Water the sheep and then go and feed them." They replied, "We can't do that until all the flocks are gathered, and they roll the stone away from the well's mouth. Then we can water the sheep." While he was still speaking with them, Rachel arrived with her father's sheep, as she was a shepherdess. As soon as Jacob saw Rachel, Laban's daughter, along with Laban's sheep, he went up and rolled the stone away from the well's mouth, and then watered Laban's flock. Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud. He told Rachel that he was her father's relative, Rebekah's son. Rachel ran and informed her father. When Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he hurried to meet him, embraced him, kissed him, and brought him to his house. Jacob recounted all that had happened. Laban said to him, "Surely you are my bone and flesh." And Jacob stayed with him for a month. Laban then said to Jacob, "Just because you are my relative, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be." Laban had 2 daughters. The older was named Leah, and the younger was named Rachel. Leah had tender eyes, while Rachel was beautiful and attractive. Jacob loved Rachel and said, "I will work for you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter." Laban replied, "It is better for me to give her to you than to give her to another man. Stay with me." So Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed like only a few days to him because he loved her so much. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, for my time is completed, and I want to marry her." Laban gathered all the men of the place and made a feast. In the evening, he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, who went in to her. Laban gave his daughter Leah his servant Zilpah as her maidservant. When morning came, there was Leah. So Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Didn't I work for you for Rachel? Why have you deceived me?" Laban replied, "It is not customary in our place to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. Complete this week's celebration, and I will give you Rachel as well, in return for 7 more years of work." So Jacob agreed and completed the week of celebration, and Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as his wife. Laban gave his daughter Rachel his maidservant Bilhah as her maidservant. Jacob also slept with Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. And he worked for Laban another 7 years. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb, but Rachel remained barren. Leah conceived and bore a son, and she named him Reuben, for she said, "The Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now." She conceived again and bore a son, and she said, "Because the Lord heard that I am unloved, he has given me this son too." So she named him Simeon. She conceived again and bore a son and said, "Now at last my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." Therefore, he was named Levi. She conceived again and bore a son and said, "This time I will praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Then she stopped bearing children.